We're in today with the GTS 450. This is a 2010 video card with 192 shaders. It's got 1 gig of VRAM, GDDR5, 783 MHz on the core clock, 902 MHz on the memory clock, 128 bits bus width, DirectX 11, and we're gonna pair it up with this Core 2 Quad Q9650 with 4 cores and 4 threads. I think this is a fantastic setup, and the best thing we can do, jump in a couple of games and see how the whole computer is holding. Let's go. Let's start with World of Tanks. Apparently on 1080p with medium details. Medium details in World of Tanks is very demanding, you know, for an old computer like this and a video card like this. I will say I think this is the limit. Can actually see I got only 40 FPS on average. It's not okay, because I want at least 10-20 FPS more in this occasion in order to have a very fluent gameplay. I'm using the maximum VRAM from the video card. The GPU is on maximum. I got like 69 power on the fan. Nice. And you can actually see that the GPU it's staying cool. So the temperature is good on the video card, but the only thing I don't like in this occasion is that 40 FPS. Okay, let me see if I can actually do this. So I got 1080p with medium details. I want to put 80% on this. Let's see if we can actually modify something and get more. I got like 50 FPS. Okay, so if it's nearly 60 FPS, that means 1080p is too much for this. So either I put the render scale down or I change the resolution, because in this case I got like 60 FPS. The CPU is 60, 70, 80% in some cases. You can actually see it's being utilized in this to get 60 FPS with this. But yeah, I definitely love this type of performance, because it shows me the true power of the computer, you know. In this occasion, this GTS 450, it's a fantastic GPU to have in a computer like this, you know. This is an LJ775, you know, with this video card, you know, and it's a very interesting combination, because it's old and it still works. But if we're jumping in Crossout with 1080p and performance mode on low details, you can actually see the game it's actually on 60 FPS. I will not come down from this resolution only if I have a lot of problems, because it's doing a fantastic job. Look at this, actually fantastic to actually snipe here, very fluent. 60 FPS is still holding. I like it. I like this type of performance that I get from a computer like this. The GPU is on maximum load. There is no question when it comes to this video card being utilized, you know. But the problem is, do I want to change the resolution, because it's hovering around 60 FPS and it's a good performance, you know. You can actually see it looks okay on low details with performance mode. I got like I said, the maximum performance, maximum load on the video card. It's doing okay, 230 watts overall performance. In the battle I had 0.9 gig of VRAM utilization, but it was okay, you know. It was not that how shall I say, heavy on the game, because it keeps giving me 60 FPS on constant, and that's actually a fantastic performance. But I'm very surprised, because I didn't know what video cards I should choose in order not to create too much bottleneck on the CPU side. But now I realize I should put just a little extra on the video card, just to see both of the CPU and the GPU on the same bottleneck, you know, because you can actually see now the GPU is on maximum and the CPU is hovering like this, you know, the graph on the CPU load. And it's actually fantastic to see this CPU Q9650 how it's holding in 2024, because this is online, you know. I'm still online, and it's very interesting. It's a light game. It's got performance mode, DirectX 11, doesn't matter, but it still holds pretty well in this case, you know. So I will take this as a big win. But if we're jumping in Battlefield with this system, you can actually see it's doing a fantastic work. Not gonna lie, this is 720p with low details, but I have no problem on actually utilizing this, because I try to put as many games as possible that are working online, and you can clearly see that is struggling to actually deliver the FPS. With 720p in this occasion, you can actually see it's possible to play the game. There's not a lot of options in this case, but if you're interested on playing this game with playable FPS, you need this type of resolution. I got in some cases maximum VRAM utilization. The GPU is not fully loaded, so that means the video card is actually capable of delivering. I can put more details on the video card. You can actually see it's okay even on 720p, but the moment I load up the video card, then yeah, I will not get more FPS. So there's no point actually understanding what bottleneck I have. It's more important than this, you know. So I like it. I like this performance from this system. But the question is, does it run Crysis? Well, of course it's running Crysis, because it's a fantastic CPU and the GPU. Look at this. So I got good temperature on the CPU side. I got good temperature on the video side because I only got half of the fan power speed because it's very loud and very squeaky, that GTS fan, you know, but it's keeping it even like this, it's keeping it good, you know. I got 90% load on the video card. I got 0.6 gig of VRAM utilization, 75 FPS, but I'm on 1080p with low details. You know, 1080p with low details is very interesting, and I want to see some nice averages here in order to see how the system is working. I like it, seriously. I like this type of combination. So I put it on only on medium details to see if there is a small modification in the system requirements in order to deliver this FPS. You can actually see now it's dipping to 40s FPS on average, and I don't want that. You know, I'm gonna wait for those minimals and 1% on average. I want to see how much it's utilizing. So on the system side, only 4.1, didn't change too much on the system side. You see, even on medium details, it looks okay. It's not that bad. It's very fluent, you know, it's very, how shall I say, the MS, the frame time is good in this case. You know, I got under 20, so that means it's very snappy. But if we're jumping in Call of Duty with this computer with maximum details, only with X2 on anti-aliasing, you can actually see the Call of Duty can actually hold it. Seriously, if I need more FPS, I think I know how to drop it because I'm on maximum. So 60 FPS, it's actually decent, you know, in a game like this. But I do want more FPS because this game requires me to have around 200 FPS, and it feels good. Not gonna lie, it feels good around 200 FPS, and I don't want less. For some reason, the moment I had 200 FPS one time, you cannot go lower. If there is something here I can improve, the only thing I can do is just lower a couple of details, and that's it. I think overall performance in the game, it's actually fantastic. This video card can actually push some nice FPS. You can see it's using 0.9 gig of VRAM in this case. It's not a problem for the video card. Maximum load on the video card, and it's holding nearly 60 FPS on average. Even the CPU side, you can actually see there's a lot of spikes in the CPU, but it's doing the job. This Core 2 quad CPU, it's not that bad when it comes to Call of Duty. I think this resolution, it's an exaggeration, and yeah, there's a lot of options I can do in this case in order to get more FPS. But if we're jumping in Team Fortress with this combination, you can actually see on 1080p with low details, apparently the system, the kit is doing a fantastic work, you know, CPU wise, GPU wise, everything is fantastic. You can actually see that in this case, the CPU with 1080p low details, the CPU is on the other side of the bottleneck, you know. There's no like bottleneck, it's just that it's loaded and that's it. There's no problem when it comes to this performance. So on low details, you can actually see that the video card has no stress, 45 degrees, under 50% load on the video card, and it's actually good, you know, in a game like this. Now the CPU side is actually interesting because it's reaching 80-90% load, and I will take this as a big win because there's a lot of performance here. You got over 100 FPS on average, and it's good, you know. Can say nothing bad about this. But if we're jumping in Mad Max with this system, you can actually see on 1080p with low details, there's a lot of problems here, you know. The GPU is not capable of actually pushing a lot of FPS. This is a GTS 450, you understand? The VRAM is maxed out, the core is maxed out, the CPU doesn't have any problem in this case, you know, but 45 FPS on average is not that okay. I need to understand, you know, because I got 240 watts consumption from the computer. Based on the performance, I will say this is an adequate consumption from this computer with this video card. But all in all, it looks okay. 1080p with low details, 48 FPS, 50 FPS on average. You understand? 20 ms. It feels in between playable and sluggish, you know. I don't want that, you know. I will say instead of actually being on 1080p, put it on 1366 and start from there. If it doesn't work really nice, then go on 720p. But if we're jumping in Fallout with this system, you can actually see on 1080p and Ultra, I got 55 FPS on average. What the heck? I think that if I put 1024, 720p or 1366 or something related to that resolution, I think I will get maximum performance from this game, you know. But in this case with 1080p, because it's a very generic resolution now, you can actually see how the system is holding. So in this case, I got maximum load on the video card, 220 watts. So it's not fully loaded because, yeah, it's a very nice performance from this system. But the GPU CPU core is maxed out. So in this case, it shows you that maybe be a little careful with the resolution. That's it. The VRAM side, you can actually see I got 0.6 gig of VRAM utilization. The game is doing fantastic. There's no problem on actually utilizing this system with this, but it will be very ideal to actually not load it up at maximum. In some cases, dips below 50 FPS, not that bad, but I will definitely like some more FPS. So that's the only problem, the video card core and the resolution. I like this computer, I like this video card, I like everything about this, but the only thing I want to complain about this is that there's a couple of components, there's a couple of things that I want to upgrade in this computer, you know. One is the cooler that I improvise because I had the radiator, big radiator, and I wanted to put it inside because I was afraid about this 9650 on overheating, you know. So the original Intel cooler that was inside this computer was not okay. This radiator is very big, is very bulky, and I don't want it, and I'm thinking on putting an IO on the CPU and call it a day, and it will be very efficient, clean, and maybe in the future I want to put more RAM if this computer actually supports. Why I'm saying 8 gig of memory, because the height of that radiator is very tight there and I cannot fit other memory, and maybe in the future if I put that IO I can put more memory in this machine. Second thing about this is the main board. This computer came for free from somebody from work that managed to find it. I was like, what the? I didn't care about it at the beginning because the power supply was bad, the cooler was bad. Kid you not, it came with this GTX 460. You understand? What I've done today, I was playing with this GTS 450. I realized, you know what, that GTX 460 will have been much better. It will have been a very linear balance between the CPU and the GPU. Other thing that is important about this computer is that the mainboard is a DP45SG. Do you know what's important about this? 2 PCI Express X16. I want to see in the future if I can put 2 video cards on the same and they can SLI them. All in all, this is a very interesting computer, and I want to test more games in the future with this computer. Because of my i7 machine with Windows 7 that I was using it for SLI managed to die, it came at the right time. So in the future I would really like to put more videos with this system and put more video cards inside, and try to invest just a little inside this computer so I can make it more efficient. That's it. So yes, I like the systems that I managed to put today together, and if you have any suggestion in the future for this system or for the video card, leave a comment and I will see you very soon.